empty hearts and neon lights. They're playing with my mind. Gotta get out of here tonight. Oh, I wanna run off and fly. And I'll tell myself it's fine to be alone, just to find somewhere that finally feels like home. Oh, oh, oh. I hate all this overthinking. Oh, 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 oh. The more I swim, the more I'm sinking. Take me to a world of silver. No more heartbreaks, tears, painkillers. Take me somewhere unfamiliar. Bring me back to where we started out. Get me out of now, to where we started out. Get me out of now, to where we started out. La 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 la, oh, oh. Get me out of broken hearts and starting fights, turning truth to lies. Gotta get up, stop wasting time. Yeah, I wanna run off and fly. And I'll tell myself it's fine to be alone, just to find somewhere that finally feels like home. Oh, oh, oh. I hate all this overthinking. Oh, 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 oh. The more I swim, the more I'm sinking. Take me to a world of silver. No more heartbreaks, tears, painkillers. Take me somewhere unfamiliar. Bring me back to where we started out. Get me out of now, to where we started out. Get me out of now, to where we started out. Oh no,
We about to turn it on. Turn it. We about to turn it on. Turn it. We about to turn it on. 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 We about to turn it on. Go, 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 go. We about to turn it on. Turn it on. We about to turn it on. about to turn it up. Turn it. We about to turn it up. Turn it. We about to turn it up. 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 About to turn it up. Go, 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 go. We about to turn it up.
All right, and we are live. We are here for HPR Tier 2 Round 4 in Shanghai, China. I was just catching a glimpse at the lobby. It looks like we have 13 racers today. A little short on attendance, but it is the holiday week for those of us in the U.S. So, of course, happy 4th of July Eve. It's actually just going to be me on the stream tonight. My co-host Mike is actually one of those members who is on vacation already, so he'll be rejoining us next week. But for the time being, you guys are stuck with just me. Looks like we're doing just a short quali and race, so this is not a sprint weekend. I believe there were some people in the chat asking about that, but we are going to keep this simple. Weather, of course, still is a mystery. We have not loaded in yet, but you never know with China. Looks like it is a bright and sunny day here for qualifying. While we wait here for the first couple guys to hit the track, as per usual, I will go ahead and throw up the standings coming into the week here. Of course, this is Wednesday, as I mentioned, with the 4th of July. For you guys who aren't in the U.S., that is a holiday coming up tomorrow, so we did end up moving this race up to Wednesday. And unfortunately, we actually didn't even race in Tier 1 on Tuesday due to server outages. So this is the first look at China for F124 here at HPR Racing. Excited to see how this all unfolds here. Let me go ahead and get on one of our drivers before hopping over to our standings. Excuse me, always mess this up here. It looks like we do have a few guys out on track. First of which is going to be Captain Clapjack in the Alpine. So while he's making his way around on his outlap, I will real quick cover the current driver standings. So right now we do have Born Ready, who is clearly in the lead with 51 points after his second win last week. Following up, we do have Clapjack in second, so he of course can make some moves here this afternoon. Jazzbo close behind at 33 points, only a point behind Clapjack in third. And then rounding out the top 10, we have Agog, we have AK, Straggly Rex, Trackside, Elon Rogan, Late Bloomer, and LK. And then we have a handful of other point scorers all the way down to P15. And then real quick, while I'm at it, we'll take a quick look at the team standings. As it stands right now, we do have the Alfa Romeos, or excuse me, actually be the Kick Saubers that are in first. 51 points. They've actually moved up 4 places due to that last win by Born Ready last week. While I'm going over this, Captain Clapjack is beginning his first hot lap of the day, so we'll keep an eye on that. We do have the Red Bulls in second with 47 points, very close behind. Can easily make a move up to take that first place position. Alpine is going to be holding in third with 46, only a point behind. And then in fourth, we have the Aston Martins at 45. So it's a really close top 4 battle here. And even down to the top 5, we're only down to 38 points. So another 7-point gap to the Haas's. So certainly no runaway team just quite yet. We do have Born Ready well in the lead in the drivers. But team standings, at this point, there is no distinct leader, and the gaps are quite small, so it'll be fun to watch. Going back to the main broadcast here, like as mentioned, we do have Clapjack, who is the first to be getting around on his hot lap. It looks like he is going to go ahead and commit to this. Admittedly, I have not myself raced at least a league race in Shanghai before. I've certainly raced it offline. It's a tricky course. It's pretty fun. You know, there's a lot of high speed. I mean, there's a huge straight here coming into the final 3 or 4 turns here. So having the low downforce is certainly useful, but there's plenty of really low speed and narrow corners as well that can make for really, it's a tricky setup to get just right. Of course, it is driver dependent, but at the end of the day, having that top line speed is going to give you a huge advantage too over the rest of the field. So Clapjack goes to the 132.1, so he'll set the benchmark to start the day. It looks like we had a Red Bull just cross over. That's Don Deutsch, or excuse me, that's a Racing Bull. 132.9, Elon Rogan, 140.0. He might be going around again. AK3000, the Mercedes, comes across the 133.27. Monster makes his way across the 139. He may be making it around once again. Let's see here. Do we have... Looks like... Agog, this looks like this is going to be his hot lap. Draining that final bit of battery on the straight. 132.695 puts him in P2 for the time being. LK also rounding the final few corners here. And he's going to put up another, looks like a 133. That puts him in P4 tentatively here. We'll keep an eye on 6char and Jazbo here. Neither of which have put up an official time. And we have the final 3 drivers at the bottom of the grid here who have not put up their times yet. We may have had some sort of incident. I'm not sure what happened here. Some McLaren. Hopefully that wasn't impeding. So here you go. You got 6char. Again, this is his hot lap. You just take an eye or take a look at his top speed here. It's very telling of just how low of a downforce he's running. So he's still hitting the 201 mark with DRS and ERS, of course. I wouldn't be surprised to see some guys getting close to the 204, 205 benchmark. Certainly in the race, we're going to see some guys hitting those numbers. But he does go wide there. I'm not sure. That may be a track disqualification. However, the time did count, so they gave it to him. 133.88 puts him in P6. And then we'll have Jazbo coming around the final corner here. Draining just the very last bit of battery there with 5%. And he's going to come across the 132.663. That puts him in the front row for now. So the front row looking, I mean, the whole top 5 here, through actually top 6, very close. You know, we have the 3 or 4 drivers here in the 132 range, then another 3 here in the 133s. Sammy Kush looks like they're making their way around on their first hot lap of the day. It's interesting, you got Sector 2, which is a handful of medium speed corners, a lot of which you can take flat out. Of course, maybe late in the race if you're running some really worn tires, you got to be a little careful there, but it's a pretty fun part of the track, most of which is flat out. And then coming into Sector 3 here, you do got to be careful around this corner here. Easy to lose grip while you're building up to 8th gear, getting through this long straight into Sector 3. And then, of course, as everyone knows in Shanghai, in China, turn 1, 2, 3, and 4, one of the most unique cornering, areas in all of the F1 calendar. I'm sure we'll see a lot of very creative overtaking in that section of the track to start the race here today. Sammy Kush puts up the 133.9. That puts him in P8 for the time being, but they're not far behind 6char with that 133.8. So we do have some on their hot lap. We might have a couple, actually. Let's see. Struggly Rex, I don't know. It doesn't look like this would be their hot lap here. They have quite a bit of battery left, although they might just go ahead and send it. They're still draining. They're going to still put up a 133 anyhow. Didn't use too much of the battery, or maybe I'm wrong and they're just actually recharging a lot faster than I realized. LK's coming around the last couple corners. Fuel is blinking, so it looks like he is just going to dive right into the pit. So he's wrapping that in lap up here. Straggly's coming out for an out lap. So the track's pretty quiet right now. We don't have too many people on a flyer. Peak hour looks like they're going to be starting up their second flyer of the day. Six char. Still draining the battery. It looks like this could be an improvement. However, it's hard to tell. I wish we could see the sector times, and I don't know, maybe there's a way I could. If there is, please let me know. or not the times even, but even just the sector colors would be useful. So 6char actually does improve. Just a tenth of an improvement. That does extend his gap to Sammy Cush by another tenth. Still very tight between the P8 and P9 positions. Double check these guys in Sector 3. Born Ready still has not posted a lap yet, but I'd expect a quick time out of him given his very successful last couple weekends. Only weekend we didn't see Born Ready win the race was due to a DNF, but the other 2 weekends he's taken home 25 points apiece. In fact, I think he got the fastest lap as well last week. So Born Ready comes across in a 132.298. That puts him in P2, not far behind Clapjack. So Clapjack is leading the pack still. Currently sitting in the pits, but I'm sure he'll be getting ready to head back out there for at least one more lap. Maybe save a set of soft tires. Elon Rogan, this actually is out lap, excuse me. Another outlap. I can't catch the right guys here. I believe, yeah, it would be 6char. No, he's also on an in-lap. Looks like. Here we go. Straggly Rex appears to be on an improvement here. He's 2 tenths down on his previous time, which if all goes well and he keeps up this pace, he could easily find himself in the second row of the grid. Pacing for a 132 mid, maybe 132 high, but if he can pull off this last sector here, minimal stakes, keep it tidy, you could easily see him move into that second row. So from sector 2, 2 tenths down, he's going to cross the line here. He's actually gained a bit of time. So no improvement. He must have lost a little bit of time there in the final sector. But he certainly has the pace in the first couple sectors. Had quite a bit of time made up there. I'm sure he'll be looking to take the car out one more time before the end of this qualifying session. Elon Rogan with an improvement. Down a second. He's sitting at 140, so I'm not sure if he's actually looking to go out once more. Because he goes across the 138.5, still down a second and a half, but that just keeps him in the P13 position. Now the silver lining to having a lot of guys out on vacation this week is there's a really good chance for a lot of these guys to score some points today. Looks like AK may have put up an improvement there. I might have just missed the end of it. But he did move up to P5 there, 132.7. If I'm not going crazy here, I thought I just saw his name move up. Unless that time was already posted, but I think he just did. I will say I do miss my co-commentator. It's nice to have a second pair of eyes calling some of the shots. But we'll make do for the time being. Don't think this is a flyer for Born Ready. I could be wrong. Yeah, he's just going on his in lap. That's what I figured. Also on an in lap. We do have a handful of guys here, including our pole sitter, on their out lap. So we'll keep an eye out for the time being. Once Clapjack makes his way back around to the start-finish line, we'll hop back on board his camera here. I'm just curious to see if he can improve on his already impressive 132.1 and maybe be the first of the grid to enter the 131 territory. Meanwhile, we do have Elon Rogan making his way back around. Doesn't look like this is going to be any improvement. So these two here, we have AK and Don Duch, both appear to be on the beginning of their hot lap. We'll keep an eye on them here for a short moment before we hop over to Clapjack. I'm just curious to see if he's going to be able to extend that lead for the pole position. real quick. We'll see how it looks. Excuse me. It's showing he's still on an outlap. I could have sworn that he was not on an... Oh, there we go, of course. I for some reason, I thought that was the first corner we were looking at there. So I'm curious to see... He's a little wide into the first set of corners there, but there are multiple racing lines, and I'm sure we'll see that in the race as well. Might be able to salvage it. He's certainly carried a lot of speed through that first corner. He's down 500 so far, so he does set a personal best in the first sector. Looks like that's actually a purple sector. So already on for an improvement. Margins are very thin, clearly. We'll see if he can actually continue to build on that lead from his last lap. Still sitting at about 45% ERS. So this is where I was saying it can be tough to get up to 6th, 7th gear while putting so much, struggling for grip depending on your setup, but he does it well. He's maxing out at around 201 miles an hour. And we do have someone off. Looks like Sammy Cush. I didn't even catch what happened there. Sammy Cush may have collided with the wall coming into the last set of corners, so they will be out for the session. Now, meanwhile, Clapjack puts up a 131.9. Indeed does improve by a couple tenths there, and is the first driver we see joining that 131 club. So Sammy Cush probably won't be too happy with that. They are sitting in P10. Still a chance to start ahead of some of these drivers that are fighting for their final laps here shortly. There's plenty of time in the race to make up for that as well. And definitely plenty of opportunity for overtake here in China specifically. Just trying to see who's actually finishing up their hots here. Looks like LK is going to be finishing up his hot lap. Didn't quite see what his sector 2, if he had any improvement there. But he does drop 3 tenths there. So he moves up with a 132.867, moves him into P7. A lot of guys starting their hot laps here, so we're going to try to catch as many of them as we can. Monster looks like he's wrapping up his. He drops a tenth. He's at a 136.1, so he's going to remain in P12. So he improves on his time, but not his position. Stragley may have just finished their lap. Looks like they're actually just coming in on their in lap there. I could be wrong, but Captain Clapjack and Don Duch both pit, so it looks like their sessions will be over. We do have another yellow flag. Monster looks like he went off, but I'm pretty sure he was on his in lap, so I mean he might have been getting out of the way. Same for the McLaren. Looks like they may have been getting out of the way as well. We have a lot of guys on flyers here. LK appears to not be in their flyer. If they are, they have not deployed any of their battery. Yeah, it looks like he might actually just be getting out of the way. Agog certainly on a flyer. We do have the time remaining at 2.5 up, so there are no more laps being started here. It's coming through quick. He had a 132.69 before, and he puts, yeah, he drops 6 tenths. Fantastic lap, puts him in on the front row of the grid, dropping over half a second. Jazbo down to a 132.2. He drops time. Now he's in P3 on the second row. Stragley's coming over, but it's certainly not on a flyer. Didn't deploy any battery there, so I think he was calling it a day. 6 char. might be one of the last drivers on track right now to be on their hot lap. So Six Char's going to certainly be looking to make some moves up. A great lap by Agog. That was an amazing drop of time. There's 6/10 on the last lap. Can't ask for any more than that. Now he's going to found himself in the first row of the grid. Six Char is not putting up another time. I think that concludes it. I don't think there's anyone else who would have had enough time to start another lap. Unless Monster, I guess it's theoretically Monster could be on a lap, but that lap would be almost 3 minutes long by now. So there you have it. We do have our final grid order. Claptrap does, in fact, take that top pole position, and he's certainly going to be happy of that last lap that he put up, because if he hadn't done that, Agog would have actually taken that pole position from him. He did beat Claptrap's original time. Behind him, we have Jazzbo in P3, Born Ready in P4, which I'm certainly going to be interested to see how this turns out. Like I mentioned before, Born Ready has been pretty handedly winning these last couple weekends, so he's going to be starting a few car lengths back. We'll see if he can still get it done. Maybe he has the race pace in China that we haven't seen quite yet. Don Duchin P5 at 132.566. Straggly Rex very close behind at 132.65. AK also, once again, very close. So essentially all these guys, only a 10th off. Through the 132s. We have a 133.27 from Six Char 9th. And then to top off the final 10, we do have Sammy Cush, who, as I mentioned earlier, did go off track, took some damage, but still remains ahead of 3 of the other drivers on the grid. So not the worst possible case scenario for Sammy Cush. So now it's time to see what kind of weather and what kind of strategy we're going to be looking at here in Shanghai. I can't tell you off the top of my head what I'd imagine the race strategy will be. Like I mentioned, we didn't actually race Tier 1 this week, so I didn't get to see firsthand what the Tier 1 drivers were utilizing here. I'd imagine we're going to be looking at some sort of medium hard, probably the most common in the book. It is a sunny day out, so it doesn't look like we have really any clouds in sight. Certainly things can change over the course of a 45-minute race, but as it stands now, bright and sunny, no rain on the horizon. Likely be looking at that hard to medium, or excuse me, medium to hard strategy is my guess. And I'm very interested to see how the battle into turns 1, 2, and 3 is going to look here. Essentially, you're going from either, off the top of my head, it's either 5th or 6th gear, and you know, it's a very long braking zone. In fact, you might even be able to engine brake around these corners all the way down to 2nd gear into a hard left-hander. But it's such a wide track, it opens up the door for a lot of overtaking opportunity, as again, there's multiple racing lines and a lot of opportunities to, you know, shut the door on your competitors. But we'll see. In some cases, taking the outside line is actually quicker, given that the final turn in that sequence is a sharp left-hander. But it all depends on how much grip and what kind of tire you're using as well. So, exciting to see what exactly the start's going to look like. I'm sticking at the ready here. I usually go into the strategy just to take a look, or the race director to take a look at these starting tires, but the last couple times I've done that, I missed the very beginning of the start, so I want to make sure we catch this, and we can always check out the strategies later. Although I just said that, I am going to check, because it looks like we don't have the green light to ready up just yet. Everyone on the hards, actually. So I was wrong. We do have everyone start on the hards. We have one driver, Peak Hour, is starting the mediums. No brave soft runners to start the race. As far as I'm aware, this is a pretty high degradation track, so this isn't the most surprising thing I've seen. We do have the one lone medium runner from Peak Hour who might be looking to make some moves early in the race, maybe get some track position, and work from there. Never knowing the circumstances, never knowing if there's going to be a safety car, never even knowing if there's going to be, potentially even a weather change. I'm not sure if I can see that from here, actually. I don't know if I get a forecast from the spectating menu, but either way, we'll leave it to chance and see what happens. Again, while we're waiting here, I'll go ahead and throw up some standings as well. I know I already reviewed this earlier, but for those of you who just joined the stream later, these are the standings going into the race. So just some guys to keep in mind here. We do have a really tight battle here for P2 and 3, all within a handful of points. Born Ready with that large lead, though. He's up by 17. Now he starts P4 today, so we'll see how this shakes out for him, especially coming into turn 1. It looks like the boys are readying up, so I'm going to go ahead and move to the main screen here and wait for these red lights. And here we go, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and we are off. Oh, we have a huge incident. I'm not quite sure what happened there. It looks like maybe it was Monster. It doesn't look like we have anyone. It was Monster. I'm not sure if there was contact made there. We'll take a quick look at that here shortly. Captain Clapjack retains his lead around the first set of corners. Agog, meanwhile, falls back just a hair. He's only down half a second, but he remains in P2 from a starting position. As does Jazbo and Born Ready, of course, all of which very tight on each other's diffusers here. Just about everyone in the field now is still a second apart. Elon Rogan may have been involved in the incident starting the race. He's missing an end plate and a little bit of his left front wing. So he certainly sustained some damage. I'm not sure if that involved Monster. Now, how Monster is actually still in this race is quite wild. That was a huge impact on that wall. So I'm not sure if that was just loss of traction off of the cold start. Agog does fall out of DRS range already in lap 1. We are not in DRS territory just yet, but he's going to certainly want to use some of that ERS. It looks like he has quite a bit of higher top speed. Don Duch makes a move on peak hour. So Don Duch had quite a bit of top speed there. Below we can see some of the strategies we may expect here coming to, it looks like lap 15, if I was seeing that correctly. We could see a change of tire just around the halfway mark of the race. Predicting the hard to medium strategy, and there was also a hard to medium strategy, I believe, which is quite strange. I suppose you could also throw in a set of softs there if you're feeling comfortable enough. We do have an inside move from Born Ready. However, Jazbo's not going to give it up that easy. He's going to come and take the inside once again. Switch back. Once again, Born Ready takes it. But he's going to let Jazbo in on the inside one more time. This is some really good wheel-to-wheel racing here. Born Ready does get around with that higher top speed. And he's going to go ahead and move into those podium positions. Agog is fighting to stay. He's so close to staying in that 1 second range. That's going to be crucial for his race going forward. Real quick, we will take a look at this race replay, or excuse me, this restart, or this start, I should say, excuse me, to see what happened to Monster there. If there was any contact, it was hard to tell. It was right in the back. I couldn't quite see it. But we'll take a quick look at what exactly happened. Yeah, so it looks like it might have just been a little bit of a loss of traction. Now, I get distracted with that. Born Ready makes another move, so unsurprisingly, Born Ready is already going to be fighting for that P1 position. Clapjack has held good pace here. He's now a second and a half ahead of Born Ready. He's going to want to keep taking off as far ahead as possible to keep Born Ready battling for P2 and out of his DRS range. So this P2, essentially it's P2 through P7, this entire crowd here. No one wants to give it up. We've got a lot of movement back and forth here. Jazzbo now moving up on the rear end of Agog, who again had that great qualifying lap, but he finds himself in P3 and he's at threat of moving down to P4. So this is where things are going to get interesting. I want to take note of who's got the top speed down this long straight. That's going to make a huge difference going forward today. Born Ready is making up some time on Clapjack here, so it would appear that Born Ready, of course, he's got the toe, but he is making up a little bit of time. Agog is also making up some time, so this could just be one large slipstream. I'm not seeing the DRS flaps open. It might be opening up on this upcoming lap 4 here. And the top 7, once again, remain very tightly knit here. Born Ready does put up the fastest lap at a 1:36.09. I'm sure Clapjack will be taking note of that. He knows he's going to be under pressure here if Born Ready keeps putting up these fastest laps. Although the gap does remain around a second and a half. Now, big gap in the back has formed. Monster now 53 seconds behind, but keep in mind he did go into pit. I believe Elon Rogan joined him as well. Both of them getting new wings and I'd imagine a new set of tires. Which reminds me, I do want to put up some of the details here. We'll keep the interval up for now. We'll check on these tires. I'd imagine, let's see here. Oops. So Monster and Elon Rogan went onto the mediums. And the remainder of the top 7 here are all on these hard tires. Looking at position change here, most of which stay relatively the same as where they started. We do have Born Ready who moved up those 2 positions from P4. Again, Born Ready looking to extend that championship lead at the end of the night tonight. Agog and Jazzbo are the 2 victims of his movement in place, down a position here. Agog puts up the fastest lap though, so he might have warmed these tires up. DRS is available now, and he's getting the toe from Born Ready ahead, and he is now flying. He put up the 1:35 to get that purple lap done. LK moves up 2 places. He's in the P6. Still, again, in this top 7 battle, Don Duch appears to have fallen back. May have been a slight mistake there. He's now 2.3 seconds behind. But P3 through P6 still remain very tidy here. Born Ready has closed the gap down to 0.4. So Clapjack, who has so far leaded the entire race so far, well, only 5 laps, but that being said, he is going to be under pressure here from Born Ready coming into long straight. Jazzbo really close up on the rear of Agog. I thought he might have gone for a move there, but he's going to play it safe. I'd imagine he's going to be looking for that straight line speed coming into the long DRS zone here. Keep an eye on Born Ready. Does he want to make the move now? It looks like he does. He wants to get it done early. He goes around the outside. There's not much Clapjack can do about it except take the inside once again. Coming into the final corner of the track, though, Born Ready might just squeak out with this one. He does. He gets the job done there. Putting Clapjack now in second. But who immediately gets another DRS pull here, another DRS toe, goes on the inside, going into turns 1, 2, and I believe it's considered 3 here. He gets it done, and he takes the lead once again. So I'm gonna imagine we're going to see these guys battle it back and forth. No one's going to give this one up easy. Clapjack certainly has the pace to stick with Born Ready. Or I could even say vice versa. Born Ready has moved his way up, and he's keeping pace with Clapjack. Meanwhile, while the two of these have battled, they've actually extended their gap on Agog, now down 2 seconds. Following short behind him, Jazbo, Straggly, and LK all remain patiently waiting for their opportunity for an overtake here. Agog only about a little under 2 seconds behind the pack at the front, though, so certainly not completely out of the running here for the race victory. We'll see if Born Ready goes for the move again. He is under half a second from that lead position, and he's certainly going to be gunning for this move. I believe previously he went on the outside. He did get it done initially, but lost position going back across the start-finish line. Will he be able to get this done with enough space to withhold that that P1 position through the final, or through the first corner in the first sector here? As we saw last time, Clapjack did have the DRS on this final and first straight. And he's going to go for that move again. So they're just going to keep switching back and forth here. It would be interesting, also, meanwhile, while I say that, we do have a little bit of a battle going on here. Straggly Rex and LK are fighting through the first set of corners. I was going to say Straggly is going to get away with it, but LK makes the move on the inside. He's going to get the advantage coming out of this corner here. And move into that P5 position right behind his teammate Jazbo. Do have a caution, although I'm not quite sure what happened. Elon may have just been getting out of the way there. So we'll see once again if Born Ready wants to go for this move early, or does he want to wait to make this move until the final DRS zone so he has a better chance of retaining it. We'll see. He might just go for it here. He certainly has the top speed to get it done. But it would appear he's not going to go for it, so that might be the strategy at hand here. He's going to go ahead and wait this one out, maybe save a bit of DRS, or excuse me, ERS, knowing that his opportunity is going to be on this last DRS straight. He doesn't get it done there either. So I'm curious if his ERS is running a bit lower than Clapjack, who's certainly playing some hard defense as well. Agog does remain in the third and final podium position. He's now 2.2 seconds behind Born Ready. He's still maintaining decent pace, losing a little bit of time each lap here, but he's also not getting any advantage from a DRS tow like the top two leaders are. Again, Jazbo and LK, the two Red Bulls, are going to be closing up on Agog. Jazbo's certainly going to be looking to make a move. Elon Rogan calls it a day. He had fallen back over a lap. It would have taken quite a bit of a miracle to be competitive in this one after just a really unfortunate start. So Born Ready has actually fallen back a little bit. In these last 3-4 laps here, he has been within half a second. He's now fallen down to 0.7. 6 targets hit with a 3-second penalty. Certainly, I'm trying to think of where that must have been. I don't think there's too many super common places to get track limit penalties in China, but I'm also no expert at this track either. Ooh, we do have a Haas go off. It is Agog, so he goes deep. Ooh, and it looks like he spins a little bit there, getting back on track, trying to cool those tires down. So for Agog, that's a nightmare. That's a disaster. His wing is also damaged. He could hop on another set of tires here, get in the pits as soon as possible, but I believe he's going to have to finish another lap. Or, excuse me. Nope, the pit entry is still available. So Agog he falls from grace here from a P3 position back down into P10. He is going to get this pit stop done, though. Get a fresh wing on and, see what happens here, but Not sure if there was any sort of battle or overtake being attempted there. He just, it looks like he went a little bit wide into that final hairpin. Born Ready has shrunk down that gap once again, under half a second. And we'll see if he attempts to make another move here. I would be curious just to see real quick what kind of battery we're looking at. So Born Ready actually has quite a bit of battery. No concerns on his end. Clapjack is holding around 50%. Still not too bad to have at this point in the race, and we all know how fast these batteries charge in F124, but Born Ready does want to make this move right now. He must have been saving that for the last couple laps, just to make sure he gets that move done as cleanly as possible, which he does for the time being. Of course, Clapjack will be looking to make the overtake once again. He's got a little bit of battery as well, just a little bit more than Born Ready does. I'd imagine Born Ready is going to be deploying his battery as well, looking to defend into turn 1. Oh, we almost have contact there. They are fighting very hard in turn 1. Clapjack may have not been able to get it done there. I believe the strategy was from Born Ready to save his battery up over 90% at one point, to not only get the overtake done at the end of Sector 3 there, but also coming across the start-finish line to firmly take the lead for at least the next lap. Both of them sitting right around the same battery at this point. We'll definitely take a look here to see if Clapjack goes for an overtake once again. While I was distracted by that, it looks like Straggly Rex has made a move to split up the pair of Red Bulls here into P4. LK not far behind and looking to make a move, along with Don Duch in the RB. So once again, let's take a look here. Clapjack's at, he's under 20%, but he doesn't, looks like he's not using that ERS just yet. He might be able to get this done with just the toe and the DRS, which he's taking the inside here. Closing the door on Born Ready. He takes the lead. Born Ready again is going to have that inside line. And he's going to shut the door right back on Clapjack just like that. Was a little bit of a lag spike there, but I have been mistaken. Clapjack does take the lead back through the start-finish line there. And as we see one overtake, a string of overtakes are happening here. We see LK, he makes his way past Straggly Rex. These two continue to battle. Don Duch wants to get involved, but he doesn't have too much room. I did see there's a little bit of contact there. He wants to join the fight here too, but not really much room to go 3 wide. Looks like he went for the outside move there. He's not going to quite have the exit speed to make or get that done. So Born Ready are so far this season, it's been a short season thus far, has been leading the vast majority of the laps in all of our races thus far. Certainly has to earn it here. He's fighting hard. Clapjack has been driving excellent. Both of them actually have been driving quite well. Neither of them wanting to give up an inch. And I'm sure we'll see him once again maybe make the move on the inside. Now again, the inside isn't necessarily the best case scenario, knowing that you'll quickly be on the outside for the final corner going into the start finish. So he doesn't get it done. I'm sure he'll be looking to get it done into turn 1 once again. He goes on the inside. Clapjack comes around. Going to go wheel to wheel. I'd imagine Born Ready is going to be looking to take the inside there, but he just doesn't quite get around. And Clapjack will defend once again. Meanwhile, the gap down to P3 has held pretty steady here. It was 2.3 last I checked, and I believe that was back when... That must have been back when Agog was in P3. It was about 2.4, but it remains pretty steady here. Despite these top two guys fighting, Right as I say that, Born Ready goes wide a little bit. He's doing a little bit of lawn mowing there. And he falls out of DRS range. So that little mistake there is going to give Clapjack an opportunity to pull out of this DRS range once and for all and maybe run away with this victory, although I'd imagine it's not going to be that easy. Don Duch, like I said, really wants to get involved in this fight. Ooh, we do have a little bit of contact there. Don Duch goes a little wide, opens the door to LK to take that position back, but I'd be curious to see just how quickly Don Duch looks to make another move. He will get the DRS advantage here, although both of them will. Tries to get on the outside there, not quite enough speed. Given both the RB and the Red Bull of LK, both with that advantage of the DRS tug, both of them blinking, clearly fighting hard. Will Don Duch have the speed here to get it done in turn one? It doesn't look like it. We will take a look at this here shortly. I'll dive back over to this battle going on. But I did want to check in on Born Ready. Despite having ran a little wide off the track a lap and a half ago, he is trying to close down that gap. He's just over a second. Those hard tires might be getting a little worn here. This is a long track, so keep in mind, even 13 laps. Looks like there was a little bit of more of a battle going on that I may have missed. LK and Don Duch. Ooh, and Don Duch did go wide. They're fighting hard. It doesn't look like there's any damage to his car as far as I can see. Fought very hard. Unfortunately, something happened to Don Duch. I'm not sure if he just went wide, but he is back to overtaking. He gets it done past 6char to once again find himself behind the Red Bull of LK, but he is now 10 seconds behind, so he's going to have a lot of work to do to make up for that little slip up. And Born Ready is back in the DRS zone as well. Ooh, 6char with a little love tap on the back of Don Duch's diffuser there. But keeping it relatively clean. Once again, I just want to take a quick look at the position changes we have thus far. So despite Don Duch falling back behind LK, he's actually only one place behind his starting position in 5th. And he certainly has a lot of time left in this race to work his way back up to the pack there. Looks like we did have an overtake from AK. Excuse me, that wasn't an overtake. Sammy Cush has gone in the pits. I'll go ahead and pull up the tires as well. So the top 7 here, none of which have pitted yet. They're all on the same set of hards from the beginning of the race. We did see the projected race strategies. I believe it was lap 15. We're going to start to see some guys diving in for those medium tires. Meanwhile, we do have AK who's on relatively new set of hards. They may have taken either taken damage, or I believe they may have started on mediums. I could be wrong, but they're on a relatively fresh set of hards. Sammy Cush comes out on a brand new set of hards, looking to finish out the race here on these. Agog is on a fresh set of mediums. He's quite a ways back. I'm not sure if he had a separate incident. I'm not sure if there's actually... Has he pitted twice here? He has pitted twice. So there may have been another incident for him. But, like I mentioned really early in this race, we only had 13 guys starting on this holiday week. So despite being 28 seconds behind, Agog is still only a place away from putting up a point. No reason to give up this early here. So he should keep at it. He's on those fresh mediums. He's got plenty of opportunity to move up. We'll keep an eye on these for now, just to see who is going to be hopping in the pits. It's going to be really interesting to see between Clapjack and Born Ready. If either of them, I'd imagine if Clapjack goes in the pits, I'd be surprised if Born Ready doesn't. But at the same time, Born Ready could go for the undercut and pit, here on lap. Well, they are on lap 15. Would not be surprised to see both of them pit now. Okay, right up in the DRS zone of Straggly Rex. Although LK does have a penalty. I'll check in on that later. I believe it was just a 3-second penalty. Speaking of which, Clapjack gets a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. That's going to hurt if it comes down to the second gap it's been all day. So, as I imagined earlier, we do have the top two drivers diving into the pits. Clapjack's going to come out ahead of Born Ready, but they both want a fresh set of mediums. Don Dude stays out on those old hards as well as LK, so as it stands now, they are going to go ahead and take... LK's going to take the lead of the race for the time being. Don Dude is going to follow suit and take that P2 position, neither of which having pitted yet. Now for Clapjack, he does have a 6-char right ahead of him on some old hards as well, so he's going to be happy to get that move done as quick as possible. And he's going to be hoping that Don Duch holds up Born Ready even longer than that. And meanwhile, Born Ready has fallen back a little bit here, so including the gap to Don Duch and then the gap from Don Duch to Clapjack, Born Ready is now 2 seconds, just about 2 seconds behind. Certainly going to be frustrated with these hard runners he's trying to get by, specifically Don Duch. Not doing anything wrong here, but certainly given... Oh, that looked a little aggressive. Certainly given Clapjack a nice little 2-second lead here. Born Ready's going to go ahead and dive to the inside to get this move done. And he does with ease. It looks like he is going to hold this going into the final corner. And he finds himself once again behind Clapjack, but only by a couple seconds. Don Duch stays out. LK, however, does dive into the pits. He's going to find himself on a fresh set of mediums. Looks like the remainder of the guys on these old hards have dove in the pits. Minus... No, excuse me. Yes, 6-char also dives in. So everyone's going to be done with their mandatory pit stop besides Don Duch. I can't imagine he's going to stay out too much longer unless he is fishing for a safety car here. But it's been a pretty clean race. Keep in mind there's a lot of runoff in this track. And for the most part, it is a very wide track. I'd say the odds of a safety car are pretty low. Although I've mentioned before, I'm not an expert on the Chinese Grand Prix by any means. So again, Born Ready does fall back down 2.5 seconds. Clapjack extending that lead out further. He does have a 3-second penalty, so we do have to keep that in mind. This is going to be his opportunity to maybe extend beyond that 3-second interval and secure that tentative P1 finish. Otherwise, we have quite a few gaps forming here. There isn't too many battles as it stands. The closest we have to a battle would be LK here, who's going to be fighting with Straggly Rex. While I say that, Captain Clapjack does put up the fastest lap at a 1:34, so we are seeing these times steadily decreasing. I believe the last time before that was in the 35 range. But as these guys start firing up these medium tires, we're going to see that those times continually drop down here, probably for the next 2 or 3 laps before tapering off once again. So LK does quickly find himself in an attack position here against Straggly, who's also on pretty fresh tires here, just a lap older. LK's going to be looking to make this move as quickly as possible with his penalty in mind as well. He's going to want to not only get by Straggly, but also start to extend that gap as soon as possible. And we'll keep an eye on this this fight for now. Again, the rest of the gaps in the field have started to widen quite a bit. Born Ready does remain 2.5 seconds back in P2. Keep in mind, Born Ready could also be strategizing the fact that he only needs to be within 3 seconds of Claptrap to still take the race win. At the end of the day, doesn't matter how you get it done as long as you get it done. We do have Jazbo as well, who has crept up on Don Duch and is very rapidly making his way forward. Goes to the outside to get the move done. Switches back to the inside line, so he's going to have the advantage coming into the final corner. It looks like he will have gotten that done. Don Duch does finally dive into the pit, so good opportunity there after being overtaken to go ahead and get his pit stop done. As luck would have it, we did not have a safety car to give him that track position. Looks like Don Duch. Okay, so he's going to be going as well on a set of mediums. No surprise there. Okay, though. Looking at making a move into the P4 position here. Still in the about half second range, a little bit over, but not far at all, and certainly staying within that tow range. So we'll keep an eye on that. Everyone on a one stop so far besides Agog. Again, I believe he may have had a second incident there. We'll keep an eye on LK. Now, meanwhile, I will show. Quick replay. This was Jazbo making the move on Don Duch, who again did have very worn tires. Really close contact going into the hairpin there, and he takes the inside line coming out of it. Gave him a great advantage coming into the final corner. Now, meanwhile, while we're watching this, LK does dive in, tries to make a move there, doesn't quite have the speed. But he'll be looking to give it another shot here into turn one. We might have another highlight reel here shortly. If he can get it done, he's going a little wide. Carrying a bit more speed there than Straggly, but Straggly keeps it very tidy. And the fight continues. So these two very evenly matched this far. Neither of which seems to want to give an inch. Meanwhile, checking back into the top two here, Claptrap has now officially extended that lead beyond 3 seconds. So, as it stands, Claptrap, even with the penalty at stake, could still hold on to this P1 position. It seems that these mediums are getting along with him much better than those hards were. Not to say that he had any trouble before, but he's only been extending this lead since getting on that medium set of tires. So LK once again is going to go for this move. Looks like Straggly's going to take the inside line to defend. Both of which are going to go wheel to wheel. LK does get the advantage coming out of the corner there. He does take the position for the time being. Straggly Rex will certainly be looking to take that position back. Now, meanwhile, we'll take a look at Don Duch, who is going to get that move done, it looks like, on Sixchar. Sixchar fighting back, though. Wheel to wheel around the final corner. They keep it clean. Sixchar a little wide there. And Don Duch retains the P8 position there. So a couple little battles going on here. Straggly Rex will be fighting to get back into that P4 position. Take a quick look at this overtake here from Don Duch himself. Very nicely done. Very great exit there. Certainly got quite a bit of speed for being such a narrow turn there, taking a very deep inside line. He gets it done. He goes ahead and closes that door around the outside of the track there. Straggly Rex is coming around into the hairpin. Doesn't have the speed with that DRS. Isn't going to get it done just yet. Meanwhile, 6char, though, is still within attack range of Don Duch. As I mentioned before, keep in mind, everyone here is still in line for points. Now, what I do want to mention here, so Agog is now back in the points. I'm trying to recall exactly how that shaked out there. Pekao are not far behind, but I'd imagine Agog's going on a long run on these tires. I'm just curious to see where those are at, given he is the only two-stopper. So he's on a set of 8 old mediums. However, Pekao is actually on a set of 13 old hards. So Agog isn't looking too bad. If he just goes another 6 laps here, finishes on those mediums with 14 laps, he'll go ahead and get himself a point with his teammate 6char. So again, a couple these same two guys, these same two pairings here, both of which still remaining very competitive. Born Ready falls down to nearly 4 seconds now. So Claptrap has found a rhythm here. He's found his pace, he's found his rhythm, and he's certainly found his tires in a good range, good temperature here. We do have some sort of incident, I believe. There was. Looks like Sammy Cush may have gone wide there, may have gotten a little loose. Meanwhile, Straggly does take the position back over the Red Bull. The Red Bull's going to be going for the outside into the final corner, but not going to quite have the speed to do it. Certainly will have the speed of the DRS going into turn 1. We'll take a look. LK gets through cleanly. And once again, we're going to see another battle here coming into lap 23. Six-char here. Will he have the speed to get it done? He's looking at the rear blinking light of Don Duch. Not quite yet. But we'll be looking to make a move. Again, coming onto our next set of DRS. So quickly, going through the order, Clapjack now extends his lead once again to 4.1 seconds. Born Ready still could if he can get within another second. I mean, he's still certainly not out of the running for the race win here. Another 6.5 seconds behind, we have Jazbo in the final podium position, and another 6-second gap to P4. Meanwhile, Straggly Rex is going to go for the outside move here. He's not going to get it done, but he's going to try to get the grip out of the corner and take that outside line. He's not going to quite have it. But he gets a great launch out of the final corner, and he's going to get that DRS once again. LK, light is blinking. His DRS is cooked. Ooh, a little bit of contact there. Straggly goes wide. That is wheel-to-wheel racing there, folks. There were some sparks flying. It looks like LK might have fallen victim to a little bit of damage. I think they kept it relatively clean. Now we do have a safety car. Ooh, whoops. Sorry. Wrong hotkey there. I'm not quite sure what the safety car is all about. I don't know if I just blatantly missed something. Is Sammy Cush, did they take damage? Doesn't look like they took damage, but they are going to throw on a set of softs. So this is going to be interesting to see. Once they pick up to the back, or get back to the rear of the pack here, I mean, anyone on these soft tires, this is going to certainly be interesting. I don't know the origin of this safety car. That was very strange. I could be wrong, unless it was, you know, we saw a little bit of contact with LK, but I feel like there's no way. Certainly was no carbon fiber or any sort of damage that warranted a safety car. So whatever has caused it must have been further back. So Peak Hour does put on a new wing, so it may have been the McLaren of Peak Hour. May have sustained some damage, just enough to result in that safety car, I believe. They've either gone invisible or they've disconnected. That was very strange. Okay. Either way, we do have the top 3 all pitting for softs. No one's taking that risk, but this is going to get very interesting. For Clapjack, this is a heartbreaking moment because with his penalty, he's now going to have to pull a 3-second lead in probably maybe 2 laps if you're lucky. Maybe just 1. I'd imagine the safety car, it could be a short safety here. But that hurts for Clapjack. After building such a nice lead there, Born Ready is going to be right back on his tail, back in that DRS range, and both of them being on equal tires. It's going to be a big ask to get back that 3-second lead, assuming that Born Ready doesn't make any mistakes of his own. This is a great opportunity for Born Ready. Same for Jazzbo as well. He's going to go ahead and shake off that 7-second difference there. Going to get back into the pack. AK remains out on a set of hard tires. I'm not quite sure I agree with this one. I know there's only a couple laps left, but a fresh set of softs versus a set of 15 old lap tires once he gets over the start finish here once more, he could easily find himself falling down handful positions, although I'm not quite sure where he had started the race. I mean, he is up 3 positions, so even if he does fall down a couple, he's still going to end up, finishing where he started. Isn't a bad day to have. Now, real quick, I believe I caught a little bit. No, you know what? I just missed it. This was the replay right before. This was right after. I believe it was right after Straggly and LK made a little bit of contact. But again, I don't think that was certainly not the cause of that safety car. So just missed that replay. I'm sure we'll have plenty of action coming up here shortly, though. Safety car is going to go around for another lap, it would appear. So we will have a 2-lap sprint to the finish here. For reference, we will throw up the penalties that we have. We do have AK with an unserved drive-through penalty. So I'm not quite sure what his strategy is here, given he has a drive-through and he's likely going to be holding up quite a few people on these old hard tires. But anyhow, Peak Hour does have the 10-second. Certainly going to be really hard to overcome that with only a couple laps to go, assuming no foul play here. But Clapjack, that 3-second penalty is going to be a huge burden to bear to finish this this Grand Prix up. LK is also going to be holding a 3-second penalty as well as 6char. So these 3 racers, and I could say 4 as well, but I wouldn't really include this drive-through because he'll just get disqualified from the entire session here if he doesn't serve that. Unless he's looking to have that removed. I could be wrong. Maybe he's going to look for the stewards to remove that and keep his position. Certainly a possibility. Either way, it looks like we're going to get this race back underway. I already hear fireworks outside. It's not even the 4th of July yet. We still got another 3 hours, folks. So here we go. Clapjack's going to try to get these tires as warm as possible. 2 laps all out. We'll see some fastest laps immediately, I'd imagine. I'm also going to throw up while we're at it. Excuse me, we don't want to look at this. Take a quick look at the battery deployment. Now, being only 2 laps, you can essentially throw these cars into hot lap and finish this race. Probably still have some battery to spare. Of course, if you're going to be using the overtake button on these straights... Oops, here we go. Thought he launched there, but it looks like he's going to still hold the pack up. I'm not sure if the safety car is in the pit lane. It looks like they are. And we're back to a green light, it looks like. Born Ready, or excuse me, Captain Clapjack immediately throwing down the ERS, looking to get it out of that DRS range as quickly as possible. I'm actually not sure we'll see DRS for the remainder of this race. There's only 1 lap beyond this. Either way, Born Ready does get a decent start here, or restart I should say. Straggly Rex goes on the inside of AK. There's some contact and it's going to cost him a few positions. Straggly down to 7th. And again, some contact. There's 4 cars wide here. Straggly makes up all of those lost positions. And he's back up to 5th. So things are getting hairy out here. Straggly, right when he thought he had lost those positions, he gets them back. Agog makes a move around the outside. He falls down 1 position from LK, but we have a really tight battle here, folks. Again, LK's only about a 10th behind. Just about all these drivers are bumper to bumper. At the top of the field, we do have Born Ready keeping it within DRS, keeping it under a second here. Here we go. We're going to see a few, maybe 2-3 cars wide in this straight here. DRS, of course, not active, but we do have a lot of these cars dumping out the remainder of their ERS battery, coming into the final couple corners of the penultimate lap. And there we go with the fastest laps. Born Ready puts up the 1:33. We do have a penalty come out. Oh no, we do have Agog go out off track there. Looks like there may have been contact, or he simply just lost the car. He's going to hop back on track. So now at this point, we got penalties down the board from P5 to P10. Let's hope this replay, although we do want to keep an eye on this battle for the remainder of the race, given it is the last lap. But that was certainly something to see. I can't even imagine how many overtakes happened there within about 30 seconds. LK squeaks his way past 6char. Pretty unconventional spot to make the move. They both are on, it looks like the same penalty. We do have a penalty. It looks like it may be Peak Hour who's come loose. He's going to rejoin the track. He's back in the gravel trap. He's going to fall into P11. That's going to basically be it for him in terms of any chance at points today. Born Ready doesn't even really need to risk this overtake here. He can sit cleanly behind Clapjack and take the win, but he's not going to be satisfied with that. He's going to want to go ahead and take P1 anyhow. Clapjack falls down to P2, coming around the final corner of the race. But it won't matter because of that penalty anyhow. In fact, Clapjack falls down to P3. Jazbo squeezes within that 3-second penalty range. We do have another yellow flag come out. There may have been a bit more contact. AK does get his penalty. I'm not sure if he's going to be looking at the stewards to get that removed. Sammy Cush is going to go ahead and take over AK as well as the rest of the field with that penalty. Agog coming across in P9. He does put up some nice points. 6char with a nice finish there from the Haas, moving into P5. That was a lot of crazy action there at the end. So very unfortunate for Clapjack for having such a nice race. The one penalty moves him down to P3. Now, nothing to be ashamed of there. Still a great podium finish. Born Ready takes his 3rd race win in a row. Or actually, excuse me, because it wouldn't be in a row, but his 3rd race win of the season so far. So good stuff from Born Ready. Kept it clean, avoided any penalties, which ultimately earned him the top spot of the podium. We'll take a quick look here at some of our top movers here. So Straggly Rex moves up a couple places from P6. Born Ready starting P4. It's not deterred. He wins the race, also puts up the fastest lap, so he's going to extend his lead once again. Here's some of the points on the board here. So again, Born Ready is going to extend that gap out even further. Jasbo had a nice drive there as well. Kept it very tidy in that last, after that safety car restart. Took the advantage of getting those soft tires and closing down that gap. He's going to go ahead and take the silver medal there, silver trophy. Straggly Rex, already mentioned him. He had a good race, moved up from P6. Sixchar, great race, moving up 4 places from P9. LK moves up from P8 to P6. Another good performance. Dan Duch does fall down a couple places, still finds himself in the points. Sammy Kush moves up from P10 to P8. Tacks on, I believe, 4 points there as well. Agog, not the best race for Agog. I know he ran into a couple incidents there, coming from a P2 qualifying position, but certainly going to be happy to take home some points for the Haas team. We'll go ahead and I'm sure we'll have the team standings posted here shortly this evening. But as per usual, it's been a pleasure. For those of you observing July 4th, those of you guys in the U.S., you guys all have a great 4th of July tomorrow. Go get some barbecue, crack some cold ones, and enjoy the rest of the weekend off. For those of you guys who couldn't make the race tonight, we'll see you next week. Next week will be Thursday as per usual. And I believe we'll have the the Tier 1 race either on Tuesday, or they might actually have to move it now that we're offset with Tier 2. But either way, it's been a pleasure, guys.